Hello and welcome to this Kodu tutorial. To get started, we are going to find the Kodu Game Lab shortcut on our desktop and double click on that to start Kodu. Now it does take Kodu a little time to start, so I'm going to pause this recording while I wait for it to start. So here we are at the main Kodu menu. This is the character Kodu, and here are our menu options. We won't be using Kodu in our game, we'll be using Rover instead, because our game is a space game. I'm going to choose Load World, and the reason I'm doing that is I want to look at a world and a game that somebody else has made, so that we can get ideas for our own game. I know the game I'm looking for is in Lessons, so I'm going to click on Lessons. And here I am in Lessons, and I'm going to use this arrow to scroll between the various games and worlds. And I think I'll have a look at this one here, Mars Rover the Expedition. Let's have a look at this game. So I'm going to click on that and press play, and it will take a little time to load. We wait for the game to load. We can hear it loading, and this is the main screen, or the welcome screen of the game. So it's got the name of the game here, and then it describes the game here. So it's saying that you use Rover scanning system to reveal rock types. Okay, so there's rocks there on the terrain, and there's Rover, and we'll need to move Rover to rocks and scan them. And if we want to score big points, we choose the laser or drill bits to find rocks with the highest science value. And it asks us to choose our path carefully, and time is limited. So that might give you some ideas about your own game. What objects might you have in the game for Rover to interact with? And will you limit time? And will you give points for rocks being scanned, for example? We're going to press enter to continue. So I've just pressed enter to continue. And now it's telling me that I can use the arrows on my keypad to move the Rover. So I'll do that. And it's telling me to press A to continue. And here is Rover. And it's giving me some more information about the types of rocks that Rover can scan. So I'm just going to press A to continue. Oh, it's telling me also I must, for example, that drilling I need to press my X button, beaming I need to press B. So I'm going to press A to continue. And now I'm going to use my arrow keys to move Rover around. Oh, it's telling me the sand is making Rover go slow. Right, so maybe I shouldn't go on sand. And now I'm going to use my arrow keys. And it's telling me, in case I've forgotten, that I need to press A to scan rocks. So I'm going to press A. And that has scanned the rock directly in front of me. Now I remember I needed to press B. Oh, I got 14 points for doing that. And also I remember that I think that I need to press an X to drill. So let's press X. And that doesn't seem to do anything. So I'll go closer to the rock and try it again. No, it didn't do anything. So I'm going to go to a different rock. I'm going to press A to... Oh, I managed to scan more than one rock there. And this time I'm going to press X. And that doesn't do anything, so I'm going to press B for beam. And I wonder if pressing X will do anything. Oh, it allows me to drill that rock, so it may be the type of rock that I can drill. So as you can see, I could have fun learning how to play this game and learning how to get the best points here. But so basically you can now open up some of these worlds that are already there and try them out, play them. It should give you ideas as to what you might like to have in your own world. but I'm going to press escape because I'm finished looking at that now. And here I am in the actual world where I could make changes to it, but I don't want to do that because I would like my own game that I start from scratch. So for that reason, I'm going to go to the house symbol here, the home symbol, the home menu, and I'm going to do a new world. Not quite a new world because I need to load the terrain. So I'm going to press load world. And this time, instead of having a world with a game that's already there, this time I want an empty world. So I'd like some terrain that looks like the terrain you would get on Mars, but I would like it also to be empty. So I'm going to move along here using my arrow key. And here we have Mars Rover Terrain Map A. I could use that. And here we have Mars Rover Terrain Map B, and I'm going to use that. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to press play. And it won't be much of a game because this is actually an empty terrain with nothing in it. But it does look a bit like what I expect the Mars surface looks like. So I'm going to press escape. And then here we are in the world that I am now ready to program. So I'm going to start by adding some objects to my world. To add objects to my world, I need to click on Kodu. And once I've clicked on Kodu, I click where I would like to put the object. So I'm just going to click over here. And I choose which object I would like in my world. So to start, I would like Rover. So here we have Rover. And when I hover over Rover, I can choose a different colour up there. And I'm using the arrow keys to choose a different colour. And I think I quite like that colour. The next thing I would like to do is program Rover to move. So I'm going to right mouse click on Rover, and then I have the option up here to program. So I'm going to click on that. And I would like to say that when, so click on that, when the keyboards and when the keyboard arrow keys are pressed, Rover will move. Okay, so that's my first line of code in this program. It says when the arrow keys on the keyboard are pressed, Rover will move. So I'm happy with that, so I'm going to test it. So I'm going to press escape to come out of the code, and then I'm going to press this play button here to try out the game. So there's my world, and there's Rover, and as I press the arrow keys, Rover moves around. I think Rover is moving quite fast for exploring space. So I'm going to go back into my programming code and see if I can make a change there. So I'm going to click on Object, and then I'm going to right mouse click on Rover and press Program, and this time I'm going to get Rover to move slowly, and I'll do that twice. Then I'm going to press Escape and go back and test my program, and now Rover is moving slower, and I'm happier with that because if Rover is exploring the planet, he will need to go quite slow so that he doesn't miss anything. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a rock to my planet. So I'm going to go back to the object and click where I would like a rock, and this time I'm going to click on the rock pie menu, and I'm going to go for an unknown rock. An unknown rock, once it's scanned by, it's an unknown igneous rock, and once it's scanned by Rover we will know that in the game. So I'm going to click on that one, and there it is there. And I think it's very small, so I'm going to right mouse click on it and change the size, and I'm going to increase the size to make it much bigger. So now that I have a rock in my game, I'm going to get Rover. I'm going to give Rover commands to allow Rover to scan and inspect the rock. And I'll start by right mouse clicking on Rover and clicking on Program. And I'm going to organize it so that when the S key is clicked on the keyboard, Rover will scan. So I'm going to say when keyboard, and then I look for a letter, and S is not there, so I'm going to go for more, and here it is. So when S is clicked, what will happen? Rover will scan. So Rover will scan. Okay, I'm happy with that. And the other thing I would like to do is say when keyboard, letters. This time I want Rover to inspect, so I'm going to go for I. So when the I is clicked, we want Rover to inspect. Okay, so let's try that out. So press escape, and then I'm going to play the game. And here we have Rover, so I'm going to move Rover around until I find the rock that we've just created. And I'm going to press S for scan, and then I for inspect. And I'm happy with that. However, it would be better still if Rover had more rocks to scan, and maybe Rover got some points for the different rocks that he scans. But for the moment I'm going to pause at that so you can have some time to try creating your own world and putting in some objects and programming them to move. Now I'm going to press escape to go back to the program. And here we have Rover, and here we have the rock that we added. This time I'm going to add some programming code to the rock. So I'm going to right mouse click on that. I need to click on the object first. Then I'm going to right mouse click on that and press program. So when the rock is scanned, I would like to give some points. So I would like to go to this game option here and set the score. No, add to the score. So I'm going to add, let's say, 4 points each time a rock is scanned. When the rock is inspected, I'm going to again add a score. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to add score, and this time for inspecting the rock I'm going to give 6 points. So there's no number 6 there, so maybe I'll just add 5 and 1 to make 6. And in my game the user will win when they have scanned and inspected all the rocks. That basically means when they've scanned all the rocks, there'll be no unknown rocks left, and then they will win. So once all the rocks are scanned, so I'm going to press when we see, so Rover sees. And the way we say doesn't see is we say not. So when Rover doesn't see any unknown rocks, so let's go to objects and we look for rocks. We need to go to more, and here we have unknown rock. So when we can't see any more unknown rocks, then we win. So we're going to press go into game, and we're going to say win. Okay, so I'm happy with that code. The player gets points for scanning a rock, the player gets points for inspecting a rock, and the player wins when there's no unknown rocks anymore, so all the rocks have been scanned. Now, it would be a bit boring if there was only one rock in this game. However, I wanted to get one rock and the coding on that rock correct, so that I could then just copy and paste that rock a number of times. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to press escape, I'm going to click on the rock, and I'm going to press copy. And now the rock is copied. I'm going to move to another part of the world and right mouse click, and then I'm going to paste, and I'm going to right mouse click here and do the same, and I'm going to paste this rock in a number of places. Now remember, you could also add an unknown sedimentary rock and put different code on that to make the game more interesting. But I'm going to test this game now, so I'm going to press play, and I'm going to go around and scan some of these rocks. And inspect some of them too. Oh, I've got my 4 points there for scanning, and I've got my 6 points there for drilling or inspecting. Now, just to make the game go quicker, I'm just going to go around and scan the rest of them. As you can see, it's quite slow because I programmed Rover to be slow. And you don't need to be right next to the rock to scan it, which can save time. I'll go along here. And press S to scan. And I wasn't quite close enough that time, so I'll get closer. Maybe that was one I did already. Who knows? Yes, it doesn't. It looks like it's been scanned. And press S here to scan. I've got 4 points there, so I'd only scanned one of them. So let's go closer to this one. And I've now scanned all the rocks. That means there's no unknown rocks, and that makes me the winner. And I have 22 points. I'm quite happy with that. The only thing I would like to do to improve this game is I would like to add a time limit. So I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to go back to object, and I'm going to find Rover. Rover seems to have disappeared from where I can see, but I'm just going to get this hand tool here and move the world around until I find Rover, and there's Rover. So now I'm going to right click on Rover, and I'm going to click on program, and the code I would like this time is to finish the game if, let's say, 15 seconds elapse. So I'm going to say when, and I need to find the game options, and it's not there, so I'm going to go on to more, and here we have timer. So let's click on timer. So when the timer reaches, I think I said 15 seconds, so I'm going to do 10 and 5 to make 15. So when 15 seconds are up, I want the game to be over. So I want it to come to an end, not a win. This is over. And now I'm going to press escape and I'm going to try the game out again. So this makes the game more difficult now because I have to be very quick going around scanning these rocks. Now I definitely won't have time to inspect them. I've only got 15 seconds. Okay. Now, do we think that 15 seconds is fair? Probably not. So what we would do at this game then is go back and change the code to maybe 30 seconds. We want the program to be challenging but not impossible. So we want the game to be challenging but not impossible. I'm happy with what I've done so far in this game. Let's change the timing. So I'll click on the object, then right mouse click on Rover and move down here using our arrow keys to the timer, and here I'm going to say 30 seconds and I'm just going to escape from that, click on this one and press delete. So we just have the 30 seconds there, and that game will be more reasonable, more realistic. Press escape to go out of that. There's another thing I would like to do. I would like my darts to show the player what they need to do in the game. So I'm going to go along here to settings, and I'm going to use my arrow keys to go down through these settings. And it says here, start game with world description. That's what I would like. So I've changed that. I'll press escape. And now I'm going to save my game. So I'm going to go back to home. And I'm going to go to save my world. And I'm going to call my world up here. I'm going to backspace. Mars Rover. I'm just going to say, let me see, rock. Mars Rover rock. Mars Rover rocks. That's what I'll call it. I quite like that name. Oops, backspace. And in here, I'm going to put in the description that I want the player to see. And I'm going to say, welcome to Mars Rover rocks. I'll give some instructions. You need to press S2. I'll just put that in little quotes, single quotes, S to scan rocks. And I to inspect rocks. You have 30 seconds. Good. Look. Okay, so I'm happy with that, so I'm going to press save. I'm going to go back to home, and this time I'm going to load the world, and I'm going to find the worlds that I've just created, which I called Mars Rover Rocks. And it'll be in my worlds. Mars Rover Rocks, here we are. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to press play. And here now it gives the instructions. So I'm very happy with that, and I hope you have as much fun as I have creating worlds and games in Kodu. So this is the end of the tutorial, and good luck with your games.